had a conversation a while back about them having a mid-card title for women in WWE. Apparently, there's rumors that they're going to be introducing a women's mid-card title for the main roster. A lot of people are excited. This is my response. So, what do you think about them introducing a mid-card title for the women's division on WWE?
I think it's pointless. You know, I just don't really. There's so many belts still, and I just think it's kind of pointless for them to. I mean, you got we still have two world championships for the women's division, right? What's the point of introducing a mid card belt? You know, because every time the women are on TV, it's usually focused on either the world champion or an odd feud, and usually tag team. Usually going to be tag team. I mean, the state of women's wrestling is kind of not. I don't really think it's in a good place right now, and maybe it's an attempt to, you know, if you have another belt, then you're going to have to devote more TV time, you know, to that belt for it to even matter.
This is the problem. The big problem is on Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan just won the Women's World Championship in a steel cage match against Becky Lynch. Problem number one. Problem number two should be that on SmackDown, you have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair as your women's tag team champions. When Jade Cargill has only had how many matches? 4 or 5 by now, and she's a tag team champion. Already has a couple defenses under her belt as well as a tag team champion. Went out there, embarrassed. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Chelsea Green. They got to stop this BS that they're doing with Chelsea Green, by the way. I mean, when are they actually going to take Chelsea Green seriously? Like, when are they actually going to give her a real character that we can actually... Because she's a good wrestler, man, to be honest. She could actually wrestle. So it's like, why are we not using her? It's the same thing with the whole Ricochet thing that we're going to get to here in a minute. But my whole thing is you have not built your women's roster up to have a women's mid-card title. Where in the cards would you even put that? You can barely even book your women correctly now. I can't say not correctly, but you already have a loose grip on the women's division. You already have it. Rhea's out. Charlotte's shooting a movie right now. Becky Lynch is on hiatus now. Her contract's expired. We don't know if she's coming. I mean, obviously she's coming back, but now there's a speculation of, well, how much money is Tony Khan going to throw at her while in her time off where she's not signed with WWE to where she can at least make an appearance, which is probably going to drive some numbers. I'll tell you right now, Becky Lynch is in AEW, even for one appearance, people are going to be talking about it forever, first of all. Second of all, it's going to draw numbers. Becky Lynch will draw numbers.
Yep.
Mercedes Moné doesn't. Becky Lynch does. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's get that straight, first of all. But problem number 3. So all that was problem number 2. So problem number 3 is you just introduce the women's, what is it? Basically a mid-card title for the women on NXT, where you're already having the problem where you're integrating TNA's knockout champion, Jordynne Grace, shows up in NXT with the championship and wants to challenge Roxy Perez a week from, I think, tomorrow, but next weekend for the NXT Women's Championship. And this is problem number 4, which kind of ties into number 3. And this is the reason why you don't need problem number 3, which is a women's mid-card title. Because you're bringing in a woman from another company to challenge your world champion. What the actual hell are we doing?
This is
and yet people think this is smart booking. People really think that this is, and again, I love HBK. No offense to anybody there that's in charge of. I mean, they're obviously doing better than what I could ever do. But what I'm saying is, we got to point it out if we're going to point it out. If we're going to be fair, we're going to be honest. I'm gonna point it out. This is not good booking. This is not good creative decision. Now, I understand that they want to have a relationship with TNA and they want to bring in cool, absolutely fine. But why are we challenging for titles? Why do you have your champion against my champion already? What? As the very first time we're introducing TNA and into WWE or NXT, this is what we're doing. If anything, you need our guys on your show. Because later on in the night, you had Ethan Page show up to attack Trick Williams, the NXT champion. And he got no response from the crowd. You want to know why? Because nobody knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah.
This dude was barely a nobody in fucking AEW. Nobody's gonna know who the hell he was, who the hell he is.
Dude, when I'm literally flabbergasted right now because number one, I don't know if the last time or if I've ever even seen a champion in another promotion, let alone one that WWE have had a not a good, let's say not a positive relationship with, just walk into.
Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Mickie James did. Remember that Royal Rumble where Mickie James showed up with the TNA Knockouts Championship too. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have women's champions showing up or any champions showing up from other companies on the WWE. But the challenge for the title, that's the problem I have. That's the biggest problem I have.
Yeah, that's a big problem too, because, and I guess I didn't see that. I didn't see Mickie James do that because, I mean, you know how WWE is. They don't like to mention other companies' names, but I guess Vince is gone, so that doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that. They've been mentioning other companies, though, ever since Triple H took over.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong. Wish all the companies should get along and support each other. I mean, different leagues, you know, like in football, you know, WWE being at the very top, and you know, but first off, it's ironic because earlier today I was looking, literally I was looking back at the Jordynne Grace and the Chris Benoit shit that she started, like literally.
Oh, God.
Like somehow it just popped in my head, and I looked up, and I just wanted to read those tweets again, and then watch her walk it back to all like a tail between her legs, and I'm still just like, fuck you, you know what I mean? And now here we are. She just walks in with her big fucking roided up arms, you know, and it's like, okay. I mean, I didn't. That's weird. That's surreal, man. That is surreal. And then are they actually going to do that shit? Champion versus champion?
No, well, it's gonna be champion versus champ, but I don't think she's not gonna put her title on. At least I hope not. But she's just challenging for the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Because Ava Raine came out there and was like, "Oh, you have a new challenger," and then that's when Roxanne Perez was like, "Who's going to challenge me?" And I just don't get it because it seems like you're doing the same thing with Ethan Page too, where Ethan Page automatically is challenging for the NXT title against Trick Williams. It's just like, so there's nobody from AEW, and I don't want to call him like a nobody. He's a nobody compared to, obviously, if you get zero fucking crowd reaction from NXT crowd that still watches other promotions, by the way. Yeah, you're still a fucking nobody. So if you're a nobody from AEW coming over to NXT and automatically you're given a title shot, I don't know what they're doing in NXT, man, but I really do not like it. I was beginning to like. I mean, I'm not saying the matches aren't great. Just the same thing with Jordynne Grace. Like I think I responded to this, by the way. Let me see. How do I do this? But yeah, I tweeted this out. I was like, while I like Jordynne Grace, and I put in parentheses, in the ring, I still think I'm not going to say she's a horrible person, but I still got beef for her from what she said, like you said about the whole Benoit thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is not the flex that geeks think it is. Do you want to know what this really means? It means your roster isn't worth squat if you have to bring not only another woman outside of NXT, but another champ versus champ match. Oh, brother. It is, oh, brother. Because
I agree.
we just finished having a champion versus champion match last week with Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes, even though, again, both titles weren't on the line. Again, why are we having two champions face each other and both titles aren't on the line? First of all. Second of all, these two should be far apart from each other. Far apart from each other. But now you want to introduce a mid-card champion. I think it's the Women's North American Championship.
Yeah.
For NXT. So while you're already dealing with the fact that your roster isn't good enough to face Roxanne Perez, and by the way, Mark hit it the nail right on the head. He said, also, I don't like the Jordynne Grace move. That just showed me that no one in the room in the women roster is good enough to face Roxanne Perez. Facts. So not only are they not good enough to face your champion, but we're not going to do what we did a year ago where Becky Lynch, where we grabbed somebody from the main roster. I don't know. We could have grabbed a Natalya who we grabbed from before and had her come back to NXT very recently, by the way. Why not a Natalya facing Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship? Somebody that you're not using on the main roster. Why not a Chelsea Green? Why not, and make her serious? Give her a serious fucking character for once. Why not Zelina Vega? You got so many people on that main roster that you can use. But no. Not only are we not going to get anybody from the NXT Women's roster, not only are we not going to get anybody that we already have signed under contract that is just sitting, chilling and catering or chilling at home or attacking fans on Instagram. No, we're not going to get none of them. We're going to grab somebody from TNA. Again, I like Jordynne Grace in the ring. I like her character and stuff like that, even though I still don't think she's a good act. Like, she's not her promos suck. I'll just say that. Literally, the only thing she's good at is her in-ring work. She's good at actually wrestling and putting on a good-ass match. Cool. Other than that, she needs some serious work with these promos. And she needs to work on her voice, too. But I guess steroids and all that other stuff fucks up your voice. So I guess it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this whole let's introduce a mid-card title for a women's main roster. Fam, y'all don't even have enough time. Y'all don't put enough effort. Y'all don't put enough storylines, serious storylines with the women now that you already have. With the titles now that you already have. Liv Morgan just kissed Dominique Mysterio on Monday Night Raw when she won the Women's World Championship from Becky Lynch. That's a whole storyline where the two of the three women that are involved in this whole storyline are going to be out. Rhea Ripley's out with injury. Becky Lynch is sitting at home. So now you got Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio, who is also injured for the rest of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a good way to keep him on TV so that fans don't forget about him. But, bro, this whole thing is just from NXT, the way they do their women, and then up to the main roster where they kind of got dealt a bad hand post WrestleMania, pretty much. Again, not their fault, but your WWE, you should have some fucking depth on your women's roster, period. And you do, you're just not doing it well. Like, I'm starting to see some of these cracks. I'm sorry, this is a whole rabbit hole thing, but I'm starting to see these cracks now. I feel like we're in a honeymoon phase of not only WrestleMania, but we're in a honeymoon phase of the beginning of the Triple H era, right? Because I'm starting to see these cracks now in the ceiling of this whole thing, or the cracks in the wall, whatever you want to call it, where we're clearly seeing that the women's division is not as good as what we thought it was in terms of the capabilities of actually giving us good quality content when we pay to see it, whether it's pay-per-view, whatever. Because when they're dealt a bad hand on the main roster, this is what they're giving us. When NXT, you have all the women in the world on your developmental show on your NXT roster, and you choose not to use them and grab somebody from that's not even signed by your company to come and challenge for the world championship. I mean, this is telling me that, yeah, you guys are teaching them how to wrestle, or you guys are teaching them how to talk on the mic, but y'all clearly are not. There's some kind of disconnect between NXT and the main roster where you guys are just tossing everything up and saying, oh, we're just going to pick somebody from over here and somebody from over there. And it's like, oh my God, what are we talking about, man? What are we doing?